Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and this is my video of my Cursed Shore farming route. This video is mostly just going to cover gathering throughout the Cursed Shore. If I ever find a good place to actually sit down, farm, and kill mobs in Cursed Shore besides doing events, I'll make a whole separate video for that. So to get started, you want to port in at the northern area, Sarah Shadowfane waypoint. It's the most northern waypoint you can get, except for the one up by Malcor's Leap, but we'll get that one's not worth porting in it. So from Sarah Shadowfen, you want to run north. There's usually some mithril up here, as well as elderwood trees you'll be able to not mine, log. West of Sarah Shadowfen is typically Plink's event. Risen Broodmother can be up over here, as well as the Gladiator event. You want to gather up anything that you see in this area and also hop in on any events that you come across. Events are extremely important to always hop in on because they give quite a bit of money, 17k experience, and 300 and some karma, which you'd be able to use the karma and buy Orichalcum harvesting sickles from Sierra Shadowfen, or Orichalcum logging axes from Penitent Waypoint, which will save you a lot of silver in the long run. Now, east, there's usually nothing from the Sierra Shadowfen waypoint, so you want to kind of skip by that. Now, a quick note I'd like to put out there for R&D, or for the Western Island, I should say, while it's still early in the video, is you want to port to R&D waypoint or Gavbjorn's waypoint at any time in the video. It's a completely different section. Well, I call it a completely different section than farming the rest of the map, because this island is flooded with mobs and it's really difficult to navigate around there. So you want to go there whenever one of the waypoints is not contested, and the path there for is, or the path for there is, you want to run a little bit north of R&D waypoint, and there's a few little mithril. There's a few mithril up north. You want to follow the cusp of the mountain around and come to the raised platform, pretty much parallel to the west of R&D waypoint. There's typically a chest here. On the raised plateau, you'll be able to get the chest. It's normally got like a blue in it or some crap like that. And there's typically Orion truffles in the same area. Further north of that area, by the sea change tide pools, you'll find typically a few, I don't know what to call them, like the ones you gather with a sickle. Usually ghost peppers, saffron thread. Sometimes you find Orion truffles up here, as well as cypress saplings, which have the elderwood logs, but it's kind of uncommon to find mithril up here. There's also a chance you'll find the Orion sapling, which have the ancient wood logs, which I don't need to tell you how awesome and valuable they are. So from north, you want to head south, just south of R&D waypoint, kind of by where it says Winternail Isle on the map. Gather all the cypress saplings / elderwood logs and mithril that you see on the way there. There's quite a bit of it. It's typically very spaced out, and it's typically like en route to other big locations. You'll see what I mean throughout the video. By the Winterfell Shore, or Winternail Isle, I'm sorry, and there's this little encampment thing by the Bakir Sarai point of interest. It's directly east of Gavborn's. Typically, there is always Orion truffles and Omnom berries in that general area, pretty much right around where the W is for Winternail Isle. So remember to keep a look there, and also scout the southern portion of the isle. There's typically Orichalcum or ancient wood along the southern portion of the island. More often than not, I find it there. Anyway, back to pretty much the more standard gathering path. You want to gather all that you see from Sierra Shadowfen on your way to Penitent Camp, which is where the other half of this technically starts. You want to run through Penitent Camp and come out south by where Shelter's Gate Camp is. From here, you'll be on Noose Road. You want to gather all of the elderwood and mithril that you see, also stopping for the Orion truffles until you get to Joe Fast Waypoint. From here, you want to head north of Joe Fast Waypoint, gather all of the Orion truffles you see. There's usually quite a few of them, as well as ghost pepper and saffron thread. Also, you got elderwood. It's kind of spaced out. But from what I've seen north of Joe Fast, there's never any Omnom berries, and if there is, it's usually like one node. From there, you want to head little bit further north to the temple of, or cathedral of Verdant. Typically there's mithril around the southern end here by the water, and also in the kind of cusp thing that it forms there in Verdant's waypoint. From there you want to run north back to Winternail Isle, but just skirt the river side around. You'll find lotus here, typically mithril again, and a few other goodies. Also, if you didn't do Winternail Isle, you can scout the southern area now for your chance of getting orichalcum and ancient wood. So what you want to do after you get done that area is cycle through the area just south of Verdant's waypoint, the Craven Blight area. You want to be very thorough through this area, gathering all that you come across and killing any of the mobs that get in your way. This area is rich with gatherable stuff. Pretty much Omnon berries, Orion truffles, and any other things you can gather with the sickle are rich in this area. Now what you want to do is head further south, south of Craven Blight, and cut back east when you reach the path. You'll run by Jofast waypoint, or run towards Jofast waypoint, and you'll notice this path that cuts south right before you reach it. Follow that path and gather all of the mithril and cypress saplings and all of the fun stuff you see on your way, following it south to the northern area that's north of Ura. You'll see Azabi Kwabar, the royal tombs, on your map. This area north of that is where you want to be. So if you follow the path, you'll notice, or you'll run into orichalcum and ancient wood in this general area. Very, very common to have at least one node, maybe of each in this area, if not definitely one node of one of the two. Also, at the very, very end of this area, you'll see like this kind of habitated area. What I mean by that is you'll see a few tents, and there's going to be a few undead like soldiers just trotting, walking around here, whatever it is they're doing. You want to dispose of them, and also in this tent area, you'll notice a chest on the ground. You'll be able to open the chest. In this video, I got a rare for it, although I salvaged the rare, and I got like a mithril ore. I didn't even get a sigil, and I didn't even get a glob of ecto, which was really disappointing. So, once again, chest spawns in the small habitated area. Be sure to check for it. Cooldown on it is once every 24 hours. If you keep that in mind, and come here once every 24 hours, you'll get a few little extra goodies. So what you'll want to do from here is port to R&D waypoint if you haven't already done it, or port to Meddler's waypoint if you have already done R&D. So from Meddler's waypoint, what you want to do is head east, or gather everything around Meddler's first. There's going to be a few nodes around here. Just gather what's safe to gather. Some stuff is guarded by like either a veteran or it's just really annoying to get to. Anyway, from Meddler's cut east towards where you see the vista, you'll go through an underground little cave system here, and you'll come to the Reliquary vault. There's typically a event going on in here which you'll want to avoid. It's a group event and quite hard to do. But in the Reliquary vault, there's usually at least 2 mithril nodes in here, sometimes 3, as well as a rich mithril, which is very, very, very worth gathering, I might add. Now, the only thing that can be kind of annoying about Reliquary Vault is there's this lightning dynamic event that typically goes on. It doesn't hurt that much, but if you stand in the lightning, there's like a 75% chance it's going to stun you, which will immediately interrupt anything you're gathering. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer to gather. Once again, there's really no risk of dying to it. Just dodge out of it every once in a while, but it's really, really, really annoying. And that's just something to keep in mind. So from Meddler's waypoint, you want to continue south, stopping for anything important to gather as you go. You'll notice that there's a ton of mobs south of Meddler's. On your way to Anchorage, and then even south of Anchorage, you're still going to run into a ton of mobs. It's very, very annoying. So the next place you want to stop, kind of, is at Sharn's Free Camp. It's a point of interest just above Desmina's Hollows. Typically here, there's orichalcum and ancient wood in this general area. Quite often it spawns here. But what you want to do is go east through the tunnel leading to Desmina's Hollows. Typically orichalcum spawns in here. You're going to run into a few spiders in here, a few risen, wraiths, gargoyles, stuff like that. Before you finally come out in Desmina's Hollows. Now, not always is there stuff in this area. Sometimes there's no mobs here at all. Maybe like an earth elemental or two, or something like that. But Desmina's Hollows is typically always empty. Even if it isn't, it's really easy to navigate. And in this area, you're going to be finding a pretty much node hotspot. There's tons of trees in here, Orion truffles, tons of mithril, saffron thread. I don't think there's many ghost peppers that spawn here. But better than anything else, usually always down here you're going to run into ancient wood and or orichalcum. So if you keep that in mind, you'll be able to make a lot of money just from this area. And of course, you know, check back here once every 24 hours for the orichalcum and ancient wood. Now, the only other thing that's worth mentioning about Cursed Shore, which I typically skip this area, is the island just west of Desmina's Hollows. Just west of Anchorage Waypoint 2. It's like the easiest way to get there. This island typically always has at least one orichalcum and one ancient wood on it as well. Typically one of both, but either or sometimes. Grenth also takes place on this island. That's pretty much what it's known for and what it's popular for. I typically avoid this island though because it's flooded with mobs, much like southern Cursed Shore is, and it's a real pain in the ass to navigate. However, it's definitely worth checking out at least once, you know, once before in the period of time that the servers come down to see where the nodes are, or if you know where the nodes are on this island. Orichalcum and ancient wood is what I'm talking about. They're very good to grab, so just grab them, and then you won't have to worry about coming back to the island that much. But that's pretty much all there is to say about gathering through the Cursed Shore. It's one of my favorite zones to gather in, and each run it'll take about 25 minutes, and you'll probably get close to 100 mithril, 100 elder wood, depending on how much stuff you run into, of course. It's going to vary a lot. 10 omnom berries, maybe like 20 Orion truffles, 10 saffron threads, and things such as that. That pretty much covers about everything that you'll run into here. I'm sure I'm leaving some things out, but that's pretty much all I can think of. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you know, post it in the comments section. I'll definitely be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. But aside from that, good luck, happy hunting, and can't really think of anything else to say, so see you guys around.